Hello and welcome to the Pleasurepreneur podcast. This podcast will help you create what you desire in your business with pleasure. Whether that be calling in your ideal clients, making more money, or creating a balanced business life blend. I'm your host, Regan Fig, pleasure and business coach, published author of A Mother's Pleasure, wife and mama to 3 little wildlings. However you're choosing to listen to this podcast, ask yourself, how can I make this more pleasurable? And do just that. I acknowledge the custodians of the land on which this podcast is recorded and produced, the Wadi Wadi people of Dharawal land. Now, let's proceed with pleasure.
Hello. Okay, we're talking about what's better than the strategy. What's better than just strategy? Because I just recorded way too many Instagram stories for you, so I'm bringing it over to a live. If you haven't been here before, my name is Regan. I am a pleasure coach and business mentor, and I help you make bank whilst living a pleasure-filled life. Thank you for being here. Oh, Abby, hi. So I was chatting with someone recently, and I was talking about when I had postnatal depression and anxiety and insomnia, and how everyone was kind of saying like, the answer is self-care. And I was like, yeah, great strategy. I don't deny it. And however, like I kind of knew of that already, and yet I'm still in this position. And so it felt quite insufficient. And so as ever, the studious student, I went out and I listened to the podcast and I read all the books and I did the psychology sessions and I did the group therapy. And what I discovered is the strategy is good. You know, the self-care strategy is good, but what I needed was I needed to like unpack and clear away a whole lot of shit in my subconscious, a whole lot of like internalized societal beliefs and a whole lot of like societal conditioning and interesting ideas and stories that I'd carried with me in order to actually implement the strategy of self-care. And it's the same in business. Yes, we need strategy. Number one, we need an effective strategy in order to create whatever it is that we desire. Number two, if you're here, you're a pleasurepreneur. So that means you want strategy that actually feels good for you, that doesn't deplete you, that doesn't burn you out, stress you out, or overwhelms you. Strategy that ensures it really protects and honors your time and your energy and your attention for yourself, your well-being, your loved ones, right? So yes, strategy is required, a good strategy, an effective strategy that doesn't burn you out, right? But what's even better than that is actually doing the work that's required to explore that subconscious realm and explore that, like, I used to call it like when I had that experience of postnatal depression, I called it like that postpartum Pandora's box of internalized societal conditioning and beliefs and interesting ideas, right? Like that's the subconscious, like let's just call it the Pandora's box. And we each have our own different Pandora's box of a whole different collection of these ideas and thoughts and interesting ideas and beliefs, right? And so the same thing in business. It's the same thing in business. I could give you strategy, but also too, I want to work with you so that we create a strategy that feels super aligned and delicious and easeful for you, right? Like we'll create the strategy, but the coaching is also about seeing what comes to the surface on our way to implementing that strategy. So for example, if you want to make more money in your business, this is a great strategy. Just put a 0 on the end of your prices. That's a really simple strategy. Yeah, that is strategy. Put a 0 on the end. But tell me what comes up for you when you do that. And I bet it's probably going to be a bunch of resistance. Yeah, there's going to be resistance. There's probably going to be discomfort. There's probably going to be fear. There might be a whole bunch of stories about what people are going to think. There's probably you going to want to like quantify and research every other person in your industry who has a similar offer to see if you think it measures up. You're probably going to want to do the pros and cons of what's the value and etc., right? This is the stuff that comes up. And this is why, yes, strategy is important. But also what's even better than strategy is strategy blended with coaching that is personalized to you and your Pandora's box of like subconscious beliefs and thoughts and interesting ideas, you know? So I talked about this with a gorgeous woman who I had a consult call with today. And I said, like, it's so interesting. I see it like a tangled, like gold necklace, right? You're in your jewelry box. You've got some like jewelry that you want to put on. It's this beautiful gold necklace and it's all tangled up in knots, right? So the work is like the strategy is the necklace, okay? Adorning yourself with the necklace because you want to feel really good. Yeah. And what's required is us to kind of like massage out that knot and like work out which threads to pull on to like untangle it all and be able to wear it, right? Adorn ourselves with this beautiful necklace. That is the work we do together in coaching. And this is why it is so invaluable, because when we work together one-on-one, I get to help ask you questions that reveals, through us having great conversations together, reveal what's inside your Pandora's box. Yeah. Reveal what those knots are. Reveal to you what's actually creating that resistance for you to create what it is that you desire in your business. So yes, strategy is good, but I mean, I can give you like the best strategy that I've ever used. I can, and I do like to share my strategies as well with the people who I work with. But yeah, like strategy is one part of it. What's more important is strategy that is really aligned, effective, and doesn't burn you out. But the work that goes alongside that to reveal what those knots are, to reveal what's in that Pandora's box, and to help like untangle it, massage out those knots, pull on those threads until you have like that beautiful gold necklace to wear. And so like in your business, we look at the things that are holding you back. So, back to my, really simple suggestion. Okay, just put a 0 on the end of it. There's your strategy. That'll obviously make you more money, right? Like obviously that is not a very well planned, thought out strategy, but it still passes as strategy, right? It's going to bring up your stuff. And chances are it's probably going to bring up some mind drama. And that might sound like I couldn't charge for that. No one will pay me for that. That's exorbitant amount. That is like gross, or like, maybe there's some fear around losing friends or people thinking that you're too good now or something like that. It'll probably bring up some fear as well. Like, oh gosh, how do I talk about this now? It'll bring up some mind drama. It'll bring up fear. It'll bring up scarcity vibes. It'll bring up fear of judgment. Yeah. And that's okay. Like those things all get to be here. Like it's not that we're getting rid of those things. In fact, I think sometimes it's quite good to have those things because they can be great for checking our integrity and ensuring that the value that we're actually offering, the offer that we're offering is actually valuable, right? But those things don't have to sit in the driver's seat. And that's what the work that we do together does. It means that we're looking at putting your desire in the driver's seat. Yeah, putting the desire in the driver's seat and letting the fear and the mind drama and the doubt and the second guessing, letting them they can come along for the ride, but they sit in the back, right? They're not in the driver's seat. So that's what I help you with when we work together one-on-one. And the other thing I want to talk about when it comes to strategy is this. I always say desire is the strategy. Tell me what you desire. It will reveal to you the strategy. So maybe you just all of a sudden desire to, I don't know, offer a free, one of my clients was talking about today, offering a free week of coaching. Or maybe like me last year, I normally ran 5-day, multi-day masterclasses. And I actually had planned one and started calling people in. And I was like, you know what? I actually don't desire this. I desire a 10-day Telegram, bite-sized trainings each day. That's what I desire. So we follow that desire and that reveals the strategy to us. Yeah, that's something that we play with. It's a little bit kind of off this topic, but what that's going to do for us is our desire is going to lead us to the strategy that's required for our next evolution, our next layer of growth, our next up level. So if you can trust yourself enough to reveal your strategy and you've got the support and the guidance to work with the resistance and the knots and the beliefs and the mind drama and the fear and all those things that can bubble up to the surface in implementing that strategy, you are going to get to wherever it is you want to go so much faster. So just like me experiencing postnatal depression, anxiety, and insomnia all those years ago after my first babe, yes, self-care absolutely was a great strategy. And I'm so glad that I saw the psych and I listened to the podcast episodes and I read the books and I did the group therapy. I got the skills and I got the support and the guidance to help me actually break all of those, not break, but like untangle those knots. Yeah, not like chuck parts of myself out, but just to untangle those knots and to allow myself to actually implement the self-care in a way that felt really good and right and true for me without the guilt, without forcing it, without pushing it. Yeah. So if you are feeling like, man, I really want to hit my goals. I really have these desires that I cannot wait to achieve. There's results that you've got that you just cannot wait to have become reality in your life, like 3D in your physical world, like living in your actual day-to-day. Maybe that's making more money in your business. Maybe it is making more money and having a much more pleasurable existence. Maybe it is creating offers that you just cannot wait to facilitate and deliver. Maybe it's working with clients you adore and you're like, oh my God, I get to do this work and work with these incredible people and get paid. How fucking awesome is that? Yeah. If those are the kind of results that you want to be creating, if that's the kind of life you want to be living, I want you to send me a DM and ask for a coaching consult call, right? This is a free call. It is my gift to you, whether you decide that we're going to work together or not. And it's for me to help you reveal what it is that you desire and see what those knots are, see what that Pandora's box is of your own personal knots that can become untangled. And we can look at ways how we can move through that together to create what it is that you desire. So send me a DM if you want to talk about coaching together and have a consult call. I have space in my calendar over the next couple of days. So tomorrow, and I have space later next week. So send me a DM, or if you want, leave a little like rose emoji because they're my favorite in the comments, and I will DM you and see where you're at and where you want to go, and we can have a conversation together. And if there's anything you want me to speak on in another Instagram Live or on my podcast, let me know. I would be more than happy to. Bye for now.